Hey everyone, welcome back to Watch Any. If you're a fan of movies that send chills down your spine, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into the top 10 most viewed horror movies ever. These aren't just scary, they're the ones that haunted the biggest audiences around the world. So grab your popcorn and maybe leave the lights on. Let's get into it. Number 1. The Ring 2002. Hey horror fans. Waving hand. Are you ready for a chilling mystery that starts with a cursed videotape and drags you into a dark spiral of fear? Today we're diving into one of the most iconic horror films of the 21st century, The Ring 2002. Let's find out why this movie still haunts audiences decades later. The Ring is the American remake of the Japanese cult horror classic Ringu. Directed by Gore Verbinski, this 2002 film stars Naomi Watts as Rachel, a journalist investigating the sudden and mysterious deaths of several teenagers. All the victims have one thing in common: they watched a strange VHS tape and died exactly 7 days later. As Rachel digs deeper, she discovers the horrifying truth behind the tape: a ghostly little girl named Samara, who possesses terrifying psychic powers and a traumatic past. With time running out, Rachel must uncover the origins of the curse before the countdown reaches 0, and she becomes the next victim. The movie masterfully builds a cold, creeping dread using eerie cinematography, haunting music, and a slow-burn narrative. And who could forget that legendary scene: Samara crawling out of the TV, a moment that redefined horror visuals and traumatized a generation. If you love psychological horror with deep mystery and unforgettable scares, The Ring is a must-watch. Would you dare to watch the cursed tape if you found it? Or would you burn it right away? Let me know in the comments. Like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more terrifying movie breakdowns. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss a scream. Number 2. Insidious 2010. Do you believe that sometimes it's not the house that's haunted, but the person? Today we're talking about Insidious 2010, a supernatural thriller that redefined modern ghost stories with a terrifying twist. Insidious was directed by James Wan, the mastermind behind the Conjuring universe, and written by Lee Whannell. The story centers around the Lambert family, who move into a new house, only for their son, Dalton, to mysteriously fall into a coma. But this isn't just a medical condition, it's something far more sinister. Strange, terrifying events begin to unfold, leading the family to discover that Dalton has the rare ability to astral project, to leave his physical body and travel through a dark spiritual dimension called the Further. Unfortunately, his empty body has become a magnet for evil entities, including a terrifying demon with a red face that wants to take control. The film uses suspenseful camera work, chilling sound design, and minimal jump scares to create an atmosphere of pure dread. It's not about gore, it's about what's hiding just beyond the veil of reality. Insidious stands out for turning the typical haunted house formula on its head, introducing original lore, and delivering one of the most shocking final scenes in horror. If you're into psychological horror with a heavy dose of the paranormal, Insidious is a must-watch. Would you risk astral projection if you knew something might follow you back? Tell me in the comments below, so you never miss a trip into the further. Number 3. The Conjuring, 2013. What if your dream home turned into your worst nightmare? Today we're diving into one of the most spine-chilling haunted house stories ever brought to the screen, The Conjuring, 2013. Get ready to meet the real-life ghost hunters behind this terrifying tale, Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Conjuring, directed by James Wan, is based on the real-life case files of Ed and Lorraine Warren, two of the most famous paranormal investigators in history. The story follows the Perron family, who move into a quiet farmhouse in Rhode Island. But soon, they're faced with a series of disturbing events, doors slamming on their own, clocks stopping at the same time, and a dark presence that targets the mother, Carolyn. Desperate and terrified, the parents contact the Warrens. As they dig into the house's dark history, they uncover a horrifying truth. A witch named Bathsheba, who cursed the land in the 1800s, is behind the demonic activity. What follows is a heart-pounding battle between light and darkness, faith and fear. With minimal CGI and maximum atmosphere, The Conjuring delivers old-school horror that focuses on suspense, tension, and a deeply unsettling tone. It revived the haunted house genre and launched an entire cinematic universe. Oh, and fun fact. Many of the real items from the Warrens' investigations, including the infamous Annabelle doll, are housed in their real-life occult museum. If you love haunted house stories with strong characters, real-life inspirations, and next-level scares, The Conjuring is a must-watch. Do you believe in the paranormal? Would you spend a night in the Perron house? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like the video if you're a fan of horror. Subscribe for more haunted movie breakdowns. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next scare. Number 4. Annabelle, 2014. What if a doll wasn't just creepy, but cursed? Today we're unlocking the terrifying origin of one of the most infamous objects in horror history, Annabelle. Let's take a look at the film that started her legacy, Annabelle, 2014. Directed by John R. Leonetti, Annabelle is a prequel to The Conjuring, telling the chilling backstory of the possessed doll that shocked audiences worldwide. The film follows Mia and John Form, a young couple expecting their first child. John gifts Mia a rare vintage doll, Annabelle, for their nursery. But their peaceful life is shattered when members of a satanic cult invade their home, leaving behind something far more sinister than just physical harm. After the cultists are killed, strange and terrifying events begin to unfold, and it becomes clear that Annabelle isn't just a doll. She's a vessel for a demonic force seeking a soul. The movie blends classic haunted house elements with demonic possession, and while it doesn't rely heavily on gore, it uses atmosphere, silence, and sudden dread to build fear. And the real horror? Annabelle is inspired by a real-life case from paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, although the actual doll was a Ragged Ann. While Annabelle received mixed reviews, it became a box office success and spawned 2 more prequels that explored the origins of evil even further. If you're into supernatural horror with cursed objects and cults, Annabelle is definitely worth a watch. Would you keep a creepy vintage doll in your house, even for one night? Let me know in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoy chilling horror stories. Subscribe for more haunted movie breakdowns. And don't forget to hit that bell so you never miss a scream. Number 5. It, 2017. What's your biggest childhood fear? Now, what if that fear had teeth, a red balloon, and a smile that could kill? Today we're diving into It, 2017, one of the most terrifying and iconic horror reboots of the decade, based on Stephen King's nightmare-fueled novel, Let's Float. Directed by Andy Muschietti, It, 2017 is the first chapter of a two-part adaptation of Stephen King's 1986 novel. The film is set in the fictional town of Derry, Maine, where children mysteriously disappear every 27 years, and behind it all lurks a shape-shifting evil that often appears as a demonic clown named Pennywise. The story follows a group of kids, known as the Losers Club, as they discover that Pennywise feeds off fear, targeting the most vulnerable. But the more they uncover the truth, the more they realize they must confront not only the creature, but also their own deepest traumas and nightmares. What makes it truly stand out is its perfect balance between psychological horror, supernatural elements, and coming-of-age drama. Bill Skarsgård delivers a horrifying performance as Pennywise, both mesmerizing and deeply disturbing. And let's not forget the atmosphere. From dark sewers to red balloons floating ominously in empty streets, it creates an immersive, unsettling world you won't easily forget. If you're into horror that mixes heart with horror, it is a must-watch, and not just for clown phobics. What would Pennywise turn into if he wanted to scare you? Let me know in the comments. Like this video if you're brave enough to float. Subscribe for more horror breakdowns and creepy classics. And don't forget, we all float down here. Number 6. The Nun, 2018. Evil has many forms, but in The Nun, it takes the shape of faith itself. Set in the chilling corridors of a Romanian monastery, this film dives into the origins of one of the Conjuring universe's most terrifying entities. A nun is found dead under mysterious circumstances. The Vatican sends Father Burke and Sister Irene to investigate. What they find isn't just a ghost story, it's the birthplace of a demonic force known as Valak, the demon nun. With ancient tunnels, forbidden rituals, and nightmarish imagery, the film is a descent into religious horror. The atmosphere is thick with dread, and Valak's presence looms like a constant shadow behind every candlelit corridor. Despite its reliance on jump scares, The Nun connects the supernatural elements of the franchise with a more gothic, church-centered terror. It's not just about what you see, it's about what you believe, and how that belief can be twisted. If you're interested in stories where the sacred becomes sinister, The Nun offers a haunting origin for one of horror's most unholy icons. Number 7. Hereditary, 2018. Grief can be haunting, but in Hereditary, It's much more than emotional. It's ancestral, and it's waiting to be unleashed. When the matriarch of the Graham family dies, her daughter Annie begins to unravel disturbing secrets about their bloodline. As tragedy unfolds, what seems like mental breakdown soon reveals itself to be something far darker, a demonic inheritance passed through generations. Director Ari Aster masterfully blends family drama with occult horror. The film is filled with symbols, hidden meanings, and deeply unsettling performances, especially from Toni Collette, who brings raw intensity to a mother crumbling under invisible weight. Unlike traditional horror, Hereditary doesn't rely on cheap scares. It's a slow build, tightening like a noose until the final act explodes into full-blown nightmare. It asks the question, what if your worst fear isn't outside, but in your blood? Hereditary isn't just a horror film. It's a descent into psychological hell, where every frame is laced with grief, guilt, and a curse you can't escape. Number 8. Midsommar, 2019. Terror usually hides in darkness, but what if it thrived in sunlight, flowers, and smiling faces? In Midsommar, Danny joins her boyfriend and friends on a trip to Sweden to attend a rare midsummer festival. But the isolated commune they visit isn't just celebrating the season. They're performing ancient, deadly rituals hidden beneath tradition and peace. Director Ari Aster uses color, symmetry, and serenity to disguise psychological horror. With no jump scares or shadows, the fear creeps in slowly, through control, grief, and cultural dissonance. This is a horror film where the violence is ceremonial, the terror is open-faced, and the true enemy might be emotional dependence itself. Every smile hides manipulation. Every tradition covers a darker truth. Midsommar is unsettling not because of what it hides, but because of what it reveals, and how easily we might accept it. Number 9. Terrifier 2, 2022. When it comes to pure, unfiltered horror, few films go as far, or as bloody, as Terrifier 2. It's not just a sequel. It's a blood-soaked descent into madness, pushing the boundaries of indie horror in ways mainstream cinema rarely dares to explore. Art the Clown is back, resurrected, more sadistic than ever, and ready to unleash a new wave of carnage. After the events of the first film, he mysteriously returns to life with seemingly supernatural powers, and this time, he's not just targeting random victims. There's something deeper, darker, and more mythological at play. At the center of this chaos is Sienna, a high school girl haunted by visions and dreams that tie her to art in ways she doesn't yet understand. As the city prepares for Halloween, Art stalks his victims in brutally graphic fashion. But there's a twist. Sienna's connection to a mysterious warrior costume designed by her late father suggests she may be more than just a final girl. What makes Terrifier 2 stand out isn't just the gore, although it's filled with jaw-dropping, practical effects and unflinching violence, but the surprising ambition of its storytelling. It introduces themes of destiny, good versus evil, and legacy, set against the backdrop of an 80s-style slasher on steroids. With a runtime of over 2 hours, this film doesn't rush. It builds its tension, develops its characters, particularly Sienna, played with strength and vulnerability by Lauren Lavera, and dares to inject mythos into a genre that often avoids depth. And let's not forget the infamous bedroom kill scene, one of the most shocking in modern horror history. Viewer reactions included fainting, vomiting, and even walking out of theaters. That alone cemented Terrifier 2 as a cult sensation. If you're looking for horror that's bold, relentless, and unapologetically twisted, Terrifier 2 doesn't just deliver, it redefines what extreme horror can be. Just be warned, this is not for the faint of heart. And the last number in this video is number 10, Smile, 2022. There's something deeply unsettling about a smile that doesn't quite feel human. Smile, 2022, takes that discomfort and turns it into a psychological nightmare, one that explores trauma, guilt, and the horrifying idea that some curses are contagious. The film follows Dr. Rose Cotter, a psychiatrist who begins experiencing terrifying hallucinations after witnessing the gruesome suicide of a patient. The victim claimed she was being followed by a smiling entity, and moments before her death, she flashed an eerie, frozen grin. Soon, Rose sees the same smile on strangers, coworkers, even loved ones. But it's not a mental break. It's something real, something ancient and malevolent, that feeds on psychological suffering. As she spirals deeper into paranoia, her world begins to fall apart. Friends don't believe her, her fiancé pulls away, and every reflection becomes a threat. The film cleverly explores themes of inherited trauma and repression. It poses powerful questions. What happens when society expects you to smile through pain? What's the cost of ignoring our inner wounds? Director Parker Finn uses slow tension and masterful sound design to keep viewers on edge. Every frame feels like it's hiding something. And many scenes end in gut-punch jump scares that actually work because they're earned. Critics have compared Smile to films like It Follows and The Ring, thanks to its viral-style curse and creeping dread. But it also stands on its own, especially with Sosie Bacon's powerful performance as Rose, a woman slowly unraveling while trying to maintain control. And that final act? Brutal, shocking, and filled with nightmare fuel. Smile may start with a grin, but it ends in a scream. A smart, stylish horror film that uses supernatural fear to highlight very real emotional scars. After watching it, even the friendliest smile might make you think twice. Really appreciate you sticking around till the end. If this video gave you chills or made you think, hit that like button, subscribe for more spooky content, and drop a comment. I read them all. Also, feel free to share this with friends who love horror as much as you do.